On December 12, 2022, Sam Bankman-Fried was arrested in the Bahamas. He is charged on 8 counts, including 2 counts of wire fraud and 6 conspiracy counts. Since then, he has been under house arrest, living in his parents' house. While out on a record-breaking $250 million bond, he pleaded not guilty. While at home, Sam posted a Substack where he provided a pre-mortem analysis, claiming, "FTX use is fully solvent and always has been." Sam claims that when he passed FTX US off to the administrator, Mr. Ray, and the Chapter 11 team, it had around $350 million in net cash on hand beyond customer balances. Should any customer suffer, it's not his fault, it's due to the administrator's incompetence. In addition to the $5 billion withdrawals made over the past days, FTX International still retains significant assets. When Mr. Ray took over, the company had approximately $8 billion in assets with varying liquidity, and he is dedicating nearly all his personal assets to customers. Sam claims that there were numerous potential funding offers. Sam still thinks there is a chance that customers would be made whole if FTX International were to restart. So why did he declare bankruptcy? He was forced. He was put under extreme pressure to file for Chapter 11. Most of that pressure came from Ryan Miller, the general counsel of FTX Youth and a former partner at Sullivan & Cromwell. At roughly 4:30 on November 10, 2022 in the morning, and against his better judgment, he clicked on a DocuSign link that would nominate John Ray as the CEO. Sullivan & Cromwell pressured me to file Chapter 11 documents and then filed the documents despite my instructions not to. Then, Ryan Miller, the general counsel of FTX and a former Sullivan & Cromwell partner, chose Sullivan & Cromwell to represent FTX. Sullivan & Cromwell chose John Ray to run the Chapter 11 team. The first thing Sullivan & Cromwell asked for, once they got in charge, was who can cash out some money for them. Mr. Miller sent a message at 10:23 p.m. on November 8th, 2022 to FTX's leadership, asking to wire out $4 million to them for their representation. However, as of today, FTX US is off, and us customers cannot even access their accounts. In an official statement given by the Bahamas Attorney General, Ryan Pindert, it is possible that the prospect of multi-million-dollar legal and consulting fees is driving both their legal strategy and their intemperate statements. Senator John Hickenlooper openly questioned whether Sullivan & Cromwell could effectively investigate current and former partners who were central to FTX's conduct. Given their long-standing legal work for FTX, they may well bear a measure of responsibility for the damage wreaked on the company's victims. Further, Hickenlooper said that the firm is simply not in a position to uncover the information needed to ensure confidence in any investigation or findings. Sullivan & Cromwell claimed that it has never been the primary outside counsel for any FTX business. They claimed that they had a limited and largely transactional relationship with FTX. Prior to the bankruptcy, according to court filings, Sullivan & Cromwell earned around $8.5 million in the 16 months before FTX's bankruptcy filing. Senator John Hickenlooper submitted to bankruptcy Judge John Dorsey a trustee's motion, co-signed by some of his colleagues, requesting that an independent examiner should investigate the acts that contributed to FTX's collapse. FTX creditor made a similar call for the firm to be removed from the case. Warren Winter, a creditor who claimed he lost hundreds of thousands of dollars when FTX declared bankruptcy, filed a motion claiming that Sullivan & Cromwell had obvious and extensive conflicts of interest. But what about Alameda Research? Sam started Alameda Research in 2017. In 2019, he began transitioning away from an active role in Alameda and found FTX International in April 2019. In 2020, he started FTX US. Alameda Research was, according to Sam, leveraged 11x That means it had corresponding assets for roughly 90% of its position, borrowing the remaining 10%. That was about 1/20 of the most leverage FTX would allow, and about 1/3 of what the average FTX margin trader would use. Further, he claims that while FTX's liquidity had started off in 2019 as largely dependent on Alameda Research, by 2022 it had greatly diversified, with Alameda Research accounting for only about 2% of FTX volume. Yet Caroline Ellison pleaded guilty and admitted,
"From 2019 through 2022, I was aware that Alameda Research was provided access to a borrowing facility on FTX.com, the cryptocurrency exchange run by Mr. Bankman-Fried.
It will be up to the prosecutor to prove it and for the jury to decide." FTX is another victim of crypto crash. Over the course of 2022, several crypto platforms became insolvent due to margin positions blowing out. So it happened with Alameda. Alameda's contagion and liquidity shortage spread around the crypto market and induced the collapse of FTX and many others, similarly to how Three Arrows, etc., ultimately impacted Voyager, Genesis, Celsius, BlockFi, Gemini, and others. This is a common on-margin platform. Among others, it's happened in traditional finance and in the crypto space. Binance abused its market power. On November 8, Sam announced that Binance would buy FTX. Things have come full circle, and FTX comes first and last. Investors are the same. We have come to an agreement on a strategic transaction with Binance for FTX pending due diligence, and Zao confirmed shortly after. There is a significant liquidity crunch. To protect users, we signed a non-binding letter of intent, intending to fully acquire FTX and help cover the liquidity crunch. On Wednesday, 9 November, rumors grew of a hole in FTX's balance sheet. Zao suddenly pulled the plug and tipped FTX into a full-blown crisis. In the beginning, our hope was to be able to support FTX's customers to provide liquidity, but the issues are beyond our control or ability to help, Binance said in a statement. Zao tweeted that it was a sad day. FTX's future was now seriously in doubt, and filed the following day for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection in the U.S. Thibault Schreppel, an associate professor at Amsterdam University, who specializes in blockchain and antitrust issues, replied to Zao's announcement, tweeted, "Next time, check the compliance of your tweet with antitrust laws before you post. Regulators have the power to block major mergers if they fear they would limit market choice and have strict laws against anti-competitive behavior." Further, Schreppel said, "At this stage, I wouldn't be surprised to find this tweet in a forthcoming court document or antitrust litigation." He was exhausted. He was less grounded in operational details. Finally, the job became too much. He admitted that his priorities had shifted, 25% of his time talking with regulators and policymakers in DC and beyond. Another 25% of his time he spends on branding and new pathways for FTX. In addition, he had to spend another 25% of his time managing FTX's growing workforce. That's time that wasn't spent focusing on the actual core product, including risk management. And overall, he became lazy. What do you think? Guilty? Please like and subscribe to my channels.